Hi, I'm Zach Fagenson with Miami Today, and I'm here in Coral Gables for an interview with Jack Lowell, the new chair of the Beacon Council. Mr. Lowell took over the agency as its volunteer leader a couple weeks ago, and during his one-year term, he's got his work cut out for him. It's currently in the midst of replanning the One Community, One Goal effort, which could redefine the county's economy over the next decade, and it's also planning an international air show on par with the one in Paris, held every other year. He'd also like to see a lot of the agencies, such as local governments and also volunteer business groups, work together to set their legislative agendas on the same path.
The original origin of One Community, One Goal was about 14 years ago when Jay Molina, when he was chair of the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, said we need a strategic plan for the community. So the effort took about a year. It was driven by the Chamber and the county, involved over 1,000 people in putting the thing in terms of public hearings and everything else. It resulted in 7 industries targeted as the ones that would produce the best jobs going forward, best paying jobs for the community over time. So it's now been 14 years, so it's time to now go back and re-examine this. The other thing that kind of triggered this is the Florida Chamber of Commerce has just done their 6 Pillars program, which is basically a strategic plan for the next 25 years for the state of Florida. And they are rolling that out to all the communities around the state. And we're going to try and dovetail as much as possible with that, because they spent $1 million for their foundation generating that plan. And they have a very good feedback system with that plan, which we're going to try and adapt locally. So I think it's an effort that's going to take some time. We are close, I think, to getting our funding for the effort. Previously, the bulk of the funding was provided by the private sector and the county. The private sector is not a good source for that funding at these times, nor is the county necessarily, so we're after grants and foundation grants. I'm a big believer in having people who are working on particular projects to generate their own goals and timelines, so I would defer to Alex and Adolfo in terms of the particulars. I would hope by the end of my chairmanship that we would have done a pretty good job of fleshing out the program, the process, and a deadline to have everything done and put in place, but I'll defer to them in terms of particulars. The 2 initiatives I mentioned, which One Community, One Goal and the Aerospace Show, are my 2 primary goals. My third goal is, given the nature of this community, is to try and get various organizations in the community to coordinate their legislative agendas so we can be more effective, particularly in Tallahassee. And that means getting groups like the Convention Citizens Bureau, Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, the county, Beacon Council, to kind of coordinate legislative agendas and talk to each other, and then work with the delegation to try and come up with legislative priorities that actually can get enacted. We've learned through hard experience in Tallahassee, it can take a couple of years to get a particular initiative done, and you really have to have everybody focused. I think we have enough people who see that as an issue that we should have some success in that area.